Chapter 1. The sky divided for 1,000 years. For 1,000 years the sky had been split in two. Above the clouds stood the heavenly realm. Endless white palaces floating among golden light. Divine laws ruled everything. Order, balance, righteousness. Below the horizon lay the devil realm. Black mountains, crimson rivers, and a palace carved from obsidian stone. Power ruled there. Strength decided truth. Heaven and devil had fought for 10 centuries. No surrender. No victory. Only blood. The war began long before anyone remembered why. Some said it was pride. Some said it was fear. But the truth had long been buried beneath corpses and ruined stars. The Devil King. In the deepest part of the Abyss Palace sat the ruler of darkness. Lan Wanzi. His silver-white hair fell over black robes embroidered with faint crimson patterns. His golden eyes were cold and emotionless. He did not shout. He did not threaten. He simply commanded. And armies obeyed. He was cruel to enemies. Merciless in battle. When heavenly soldiers invaded, he wiped them out without hesitation. When traitors appeared, he erased their existence. For 1,000 years, he had been the devil realm's strongest shield and sharpest blade. Marriage? Love. Those were meaningless words to him. Peace was only a strategy. The heavenly palace. In the upper realm, the heavenly emperor sat upon a throne of light. He had 3 children. The first son, righteous and disciplined. The second, intelligent and politically skilled. The third, Wei Wuxian. From childhood, Wei Wuxian had been different. At 5 he could sense spiritual veins across the realm. At 8 he solved ancient formation arrays. At 12, he defeated veteran generals in sparring matches. At 16, he surpassed most heavenly officials in cultivation. He smiled often. He joked easily. But behind that bright expression was a mind sharper than any divine blade. He was a genius. And today, he turned 18. The marriage decision. The war had drained both realms. Divine energy weakened. Devil resources thinned. An ancient council gathered. End this war, an old immortal said. How? Another asked. Marriage alliance. The proposal shocked heaven. To seal peace, one royal must marry the Devil King. After discussion, the heavenly emperor announced. The second princess shall marry. The court approved. She was elegant. Political. Calm. Perfect for peace. But fate had other plans. The princess refuses. The night before the formal announcement, chaos erupted. The second princess confessed. She loved a heavenly general. She refused to marry the Devil King. Scandal spread across the palace. If heaven withdrew now, the devil realm would see it as insult. War would become worse than before. The heavenly emperor's face darkened. Silence filled the throne hall. Then, a calm voice spoke. I will go. All eyes turned. Wei Wuxian stepped forward. His white robes fluttered softly. You, the emperor asked. Wei Wuxian smiled gently. Peace is more important. The court murmured in shock. The third son was precious. Genius. Future pillar of heaven. Sending him to the devil realm was dangerous. But Wei Wuxian's eyes were calm. As if he already knew something others did not. The 18th birthday ceremony. Despite political turmoil, the ascension ceremony began. At 18, royal blood receives their god title. The sky darkened. Golden thunder rolled. The heavenly emperor raised his hand. Heaven, grant your title. Light descended upon Wei Wuxian. At first it was gold. Then, it changed. Soft green. Warm. Life energy spread through the realm. Winter trees bloomed instantly. Dry rivers flowed again. Even wounded soldiers felt healed. A divine voice echoed across heaven. Wei Wuxian, spring god. The court gasped. The god of spring had not appeared for centuries. Spring represented rebirth, growth, new beginnings, and balance. The moment the divine seal entered his forehead, Wei Wuxian saw the future. The future sign. Time froze. In countless flashes he saw heaven burning, devil realm collapsing, a massive shadow swallowing both worlds. He saw himself standing beside the Devil King. He saw Lan Wangji wounded, protecting him. He saw a child in his arms, a child glowing with spring light and abyss darkness. And he saw blood covering the sky. But in every destroyed future, only one path led to survival. Marriage to the Devil King. Wei Wuxian opened his eyes slowly. His smile returned. So that's why. He understood now. The war was not the real enemy. Something older was awakening. And their union was the key. The message to the abyss. Heaven sent word to the Devil Realm. The third son will marry. In the Abyss Palace, a messenger knelt before Lan Wangji. The heavenly third son replaces the princess. Lan Wangji's golden eyes narrowed slightly. The spring god. Yes, your majesty. For a brief second, something flickered in his cold gaze. Except, he said calmly, it was strategic. A god of spring in the Devil Realm meant balance. Nothing more. Or so he believed. The first omen. Far beneath both realms, hidden in ancient darkness, a crack appeared in a forgotten seal. A voice whispered, "Spring has awakened. Then the balanced child shall soon follow." The shadow laughed softly, and the war between heaven and devil was only the beginning. Chapter 2. The groom who walked into darkness. They expected fear, trembling, weakness. Instead, the spring god stepped down calmly. Flowers bloomed beneath his feet as they touched the black stone. The soldiers shifted uneasily. Life energy in the Devil Realm felt strange, beautiful, unfamiliar. The palace gates opened. The Devil King. Inside the grand hall, darkness gathered like a living presence. At the end of the hall sat the throne of obsidian, and upon it, Lan Wanzi. Silver-white hair cascading over black robes. Golden eyes calm, cold, unreadable. His aura pressed heavily upon the hall. Even high-ranking devils lowered their heads. Wei Wuxian did not. Their eyes met. The air tightened. For one long second, neither spoke. Lan Wangji observed him carefully. The spring god's aura did not clash with the abyss. It blended. Balanced. Unexpected. You replaced the princess, Lan Wangji said. His voice was low. Even. Emotionless. Wei Wuxian clasped his hands politely. She had other plans. The devil generals shifted at the bold tone. Lan Wangji's gaze sharpened. You are not afraid. Wei Wuxian tilted his head slightly. Should I be? Silence filled the hall. And then, something subtle changed. Lan Wanzi stood. His black robes fell like shadows around him. He walked down the long stairs of the throne platform. Each step echoed. His aura was powerful enough to crush immortals. But when he stopped before Wei Wuxian, it did not touch him. The spring aura gently pushed back, not aggressively but steadily. Balance. Lan Wangji looked down at him. Closer now. He could see the faint green light in Wei Wuxian's eyes. He felt warmth. For the first time in 1,000 years, something inside his chest moved. He did not understand it. He did not like not understanding it. But he did not step back. You are younger than I expected, Lan Wangji said. And you are less cruel than I imagined. Wei Wuxian replied smoothly. A sharp inhale spread across the hall. Insult? Teasing? Madness? Lan Wangji's golden gaze remained steady. Cruelty is for enemies. Wei Wuxian smiled softly. Then I suppose I am safe. A faint pause. Lan Wangji extended his hand. Not roughly. Not forcefully. Just offering. You will stand beside me. Not as a hostage. Not as a prisoner. As a partner. Wei Wuxian looked at the offered hand. In his future visions, this hand always reached for him first. He placed his own hand in it. The moment their skin touched, darkness and spring light intertwined. The palace trembled slightly. Above the abyss, clouds shifted. Far away, the ancient seal cracked a little more. The wedding decree. Lan Wangji turned to his court. The marriage will proceed tomorrow. No hesitasyon. No negociasyon. Absolute authority. Some devils were dissatisfied. Some were curious. But none dared object. Wei Wuxian studied the throne room carefully. He memorized exits. Energy flows. Weak points. Genius never stops observing. Lan Wanzi noted? You are analyzing my palace. Wei Wuxian smiled. I like to understand where I live. Lan Wangji's gaze softened slightly. Nothing here will harm you. It was not romantic. Not dramatic. Just a fact. And for some reason, Wei Wuxian believed him. Private conversation. That evening, Wei Wuxian was shown to his chamber. It was dark stone, elegant, simple. Mumenjlate. Lan Wangji entered without sound. Wei Wuxian looked up. Your Majesty. Lan Wangji stood a short distance away. You may call me by name. Wei Wuxian blinked slightly. Oh. Lan Wangji's voice remained calm. You are my spouse. A simple statement. Direct. Noi mouschenelik sayeraschen. Wei Wuxian laughed softly. Very well. Lan Wanzi. The Devil King watched him quietly. I will not touch you without consent. Wei Wuxian paused. That was unexpected. Lan Wangji continued. This marriage is political. But your safety is not. Green flag. Cruel to enemies. Gentle to his wife. Wei Wuxian felt warmth bloom in his chest. You are not what heaven described. Lan Wangji's eyes darkened slightly. What did they say? That you are merciless and heartless. Lan Wangji did not deny it. I am. Then he looked directly at Wei Wuxian. But not to you. Silence. Soft. Steady. Outside the palace, dark winds blew. Far below the realms. A shadow stirred. Spring has entered the abyss. And the Devil King has chosen. The war of 1,000 years was shifting. And destiny had begun moving. Chapter 3. The Wedding of Light and Darkness. The wedding day arrived without celebration. There were no joyful songs. No laughter. Only silence heavy enough to press against the sky. For 1,000 years heaven and the devil realm had been enemies. And today, they would become family. The sky split in two. Above the abyss palace, the sky divided. On one side, golden clouds from the heavenly realm descended slowly. On the other, crimson storms circled the black towers of the devil palace. Gods stood on floating platforms of light. Devil generals lined the obsidian courtyard below. Neither trusted the other. But both watched. Because this was history. The spring god arrives. Wei Wuxian stepped forward first. He wore layered robes of white and soft green, embroidered with blooming patterns. His long black hair was tied with a jade crown glowing faintly with spring aura. Where he walked, tiny green lights flickered like petals in wind. He did not look nervous. He did not look forced. He looked calm. Genius eyes observing everything. Measuring. Understanding. The Devil King appears. From the palace gates, Lan Wangji emerged. Black robes trimmed with deep crimson. Silver white hair flowing freely. His golden eyes were cold, unreadable, merciless to the world. The pressure of his aura made even heavenly officials tense. He walked steadily across the courtyard. Each step firm. Unshaken. He stopped in front of Wei Wuxian. For a moment, spring light and abyss darkness touched. The air trembled slightly. But instead of clashing, they balanced. A faint ring of energy expanded outward, neither light nor dark. Something new. High above, the heavenly emperor narrowed his eyes. Below, devil generals exchanged looks. This was not expected. The vows. An ancient altar stood between them, carved with symbols older than both realms. Lan Wangji spoke first. His voice was low, calm, without emotion. I, Lan Wangji, accept this union for peace between realms. Wei Wuxian lifted his gaze. I, Wei Wuxian, accept this union for balance and future. Their hands were tied together with a silk thread woven from both divine light and abyss silk. The moment the knot tightened, the sky shook. Far below the realms, another crack formed in an ancient seal. A whisper echoed. They are bound. A small, quiet moment. The ceremony ended without applause. But as they turned to walk side by side, Wei Wuxian's crown shifted slightly from the heavy aura pressure. Before anyone noticed, Lan Wangji reached out and adjusted it. Carefully, gently. His fingers barely brushed Wei Wuxian's hair. A small action. But the entire court saw it. The Devil King did not show softness. Yet he just had. Wei Wuxian glanced sideways. Thank you. Lan Wanzi ziplit gan li. It is crooked. Nothing emotional. No esmail. But his hand lingered half a second longer than necessary. Public declaration. A heavenly official stepped forward cautiously. May this marriage truly end war. A devil general muttered something under his breath. Lan Wangji's golden eyes shifted instantly. The temperature dropped. Speak clearly, he said. The general knelt immediately. Silence returned. Then Lan Wangji spoke loudly enough for both realms to hear. From this day forward, Wei Wuxian stands beside me. His gaze swept across heaven and devil alike. Anyone who disrespects him, disrespects me. Absolute. Cold. Protective. Wei Wuxian did not react outwardly. But inside something warmed. In every future vision, Lan Wangji always stood in front of him. He was beginning to understand why. The omen. As the ceremony concluded, wind swept across the courtyard. Wei Wuxian's spring power reacted suddenly. A flicker of pain passed through his mind. Another future fragment. He saw blood staining the altar. Lan Wanzi Wao De. A child crying. And a towering shadow laughing. The vision vanished quickly. Lan Wangji noticed the slight change in his expression. You saw something. It was not a question. Wei Wuxian smiled lightly. Just the wind. Lan Wangji stepped slightly closer. His aura wrapped subtly around him. Protective. Without asking permission. Without hesitation. Nightfall. When darkness fully covered the Abyss Palace, heaven's delegation returned to the skies. Wei Wuxian stood at the palace balcony, looking at the divided horizon. You do not regret it? Lan Wangji asked from behind him. Wei Wuxian answered honestly. No. A brief pause. Lan Wangji stepped beside him. Nor do I. The Devil King who slaughtered armies without blinking, now stood quietly next to his wife. No dramatic premises. No exaggerated romance. Just presence. Solid. Reliable. Far beneath them, the ancient seal cracked again. A distorted voice whispered. Spring and abyss. Then I must awaken fully. The 1,000-year war had ended. But something far worse had just begun. Chapter 4. The Palace of Endless Night. The wedding ended without celebration. It absorbed it. Balanced. His eyes narrowed slightly. Something deeper was connected to this land. The Devil King enters. The door opened quietly. Lan Wangji stepped inside. No guards. No attendants. Just him. Wei Wuxian turned. Your Majesty. You may call me Lan Wangji, he corrected calmly. Wei Wuxian smiled slightly. Lan Wanzi. The name sounded natural in his voice. Lan Wangji stood a few steps away. His golden eyes examined him carefully, as if confirming something. You are analyzing the realm. Of course, Wei Wuxian replied honestly. I live here now. Lan Wangji did not seem offended. Instead he walked closer. The air pressure rose slightly, but not toward Wei Wuxian. It was as if the entire room adjusted to protect him. You will not be restricted here, Lan Wangji said. You may go anywhere in the palace. Trust. So easily given. Wei Wuxian tilted his head. You are not worried I will betray you? Lan Wangji's answer came without hesitation. No. Not because he was naive. Because he was certain. Wei Wuxian studied his expression carefully. Cold face. Sharp eyes. Merciless aura. But when he looked at him, there was no hostility. Only quiet attention. Love at first sight. Even if Lan Wangji did not say it. A simple promise. Silence lingered between them. Lan Wangji spoke again. This marriage may be political. Wei Wuxian waited. But your safety is not. The statement was firm. Not romantic. Not emotional. Just truth. Wei Wuxian felt a strange warmth in his chest. In every future he saw, Lan Wangji never abandoned him. Never hesitated to stand in front of him. He wondered if the Devil King realized how transparent he was when it came to him. Then I will protect your realm in return, Wei Wuxian said softly. Lan Wangji's gaze sharpened slightly. You already intend to act. It was not a question. Wei Wuxian laughed lightly. I cannot sit quietly while something ancient is awakening. For the first time, Lan Wangji's expression changed slightly. You sensed it. Yes. Their eyes met. No need for explanation. Both rulers understood. The 1,000-year war was not the true cause of imbalance. There was something older. Something sealed. And it was weakening. The first investigation. After Lan Wangji left to attend night court, Wei Wuxian moved quietly through the palace corridors. He did not bring guards. He did not inform anyone. His spring aura was soft, subtle. He extended his spiritual sense into the land beneath the palace. And then, he found it. Deep below the abyss. A sealed formation. Ancient. Older than heaven's current emperor. Older than Lan Wangji's reign. Its energy felt twisted. Chaotic. Hungry. Wei Wuxian's breath slowed. So this was the real enemy. A low whisper echoed in his mind. Spring. His eyes snapped open. The seal reacted to him. Not to Lan Wangji. Not to the devil realm. To him. Interrupted. Suddenly, the temperature in the corridor dropped sharply. Wei Wuxian turned calmly. A shadowed figure lunged from behind a pillar. A devil noble. Eyes glowing red. Weapon aimed at the spring god's heart. Before the blade reached him, it shattered midair. A powerful dark aura slammed the attacker against the wall. Lan Wangji stood at the end of the corridor. Golden eyes burning. You dare? His voice was no longer calm. It was lethal. The attacker trembled. Forgive me, Your Majesty. I believed heaven sent him to weaken us. The pressure increased. Bones cracked. Wei Wuxian stepped forward gently. Lan Wangji. Instantly, the crushing aura stopped. The devil noble collapsed unconscious but alive. Lan Wangji looked at him. He threatened you. Wei Wuxian's voice remained soft. And you handled it. Lan Wangji's eyes narrowed slightly. You are not angry. Wei Wuxian smiled faintly. If he wanted me dead, I would already be dead. Confidence. Genius-level awareness. Lan Wangji stipet galo. You will not walk alone at night. It was not control. It was protection. Wei Wuxian did not argue. Then walk with me. A brief pause. Lan Wangji extended his hand. Wei Wuxian placed his hand in it. Darkness and spring light intertwined again. Balanced. Natural. Far below the palace. The ancient seal cracked a little more. A distorted voice whispered. He has arrived. The spring god who will either destroy me or free me. Chapter 5 The Court of Devils. Morning in the abyss did not bring sunlight. It brought discipline. Black banners rose along the palace towers. War drums echoed once, signaling the beginning of night court. Wei Wuxian stood beside the throne platform, dressed in layered black and deep green robes. The color of spring woven into darkness. Below them, high-ranking devil nobles gathered. Their eyes were not friendly. They were testing. The devil court begins. Lan Wangji sat upon the obsidian throne. Cold. Unmoving. Unquestionable. Wei Wuxian stood at his right side. Not behind. Not lower. Beside. That position alone caused quiet unrest. A senior devil lord stepped forward. Your Majesty, with respect, the heavenly third son cannot be trusted. The hall grew silent. Lan Wangji did not speak. He simply watched. The devil lord continued. He is a god of spring. A symbol of heaven. How can we allow him access to abyss secrets? Many agreed silently. Wei Wuxian's smile remained calm. Before Lan Wangji could respond, Wei Wuxian stepped forward slightly. May I answer? The hall froze. Lan Wangji looked at him. You may. Permission given immediately. No hesitation. The genius speaks. Wei Wuxian's voice was light but clear. For 1,000 years both realms fought. He walked slowly down the steps, observing reactions. If I wished to weaken the abyss, I would have advised heaven to continue war. Murmurs. Logical. Sharp. He continued. Instead, I chose marriage. His green aura shimmered faintly. Spring does not destroy. It restores balance. He looked directly at the devil lord. But balance requires both sides to survive. The logic was flawless. The devil lord frowned. Words are easy. Wei Wuxian smiled slightly. Then allow me to act. Proof of loyalty. Suddenly, the palace trembled slightly. The ancient sealed energy below stirred again. A crack of chaotic aura burst from beneath the palace foundation. Several devil nobles stumbled. Wei Wuxian reacted instantly. Spring power surged from his hands. Green light spread across the black floor. stabilizing the tremor. Lan Wangji stood at the same time. Dark aura surged downward, reinforcing the foundation. Light and darkness intertwined. Perfect coordination. Without speaking. Within seconds. The tremor stopped. Silence returned. The devil nobles stared in shock. The spring god had just protected the devil realm. Without hesitation. Lan Wangji's voice echoed calmly. Does anyone still question his position? No one spoke. The devil lord knelt slowly. This subordinate was mistaken. Lan Wangji did not respond. He simply reached for Wei Wuxian's wrist briefly. A subtle gesture. Checking. Ensuring he was unharmed. Wei Wuxian glanced at him. "Ai fine." Lan Wangji's fingers released slowly, but his golden eyes did not soften for anyone else. After court, when the nobles left, the throne hall emptied. Wei Wuxian looked down at the black floor. It's getting stronger. Lan Wangji stepped beside him. You confirmed it. Yes. Wei Wuxian's tone grew serious. The war was never the root problem. Lan Wangji's expression darkened. You saw more. Wei Wuxian hesitated only briefly. In the future, the seal breaks completely. A pause. And you are injured. Lan Wangji's voice remained steady. That is irrelevant. Wei Wuxian looked at him sharply. It is not irrelevant to me. Silence lingered. Lan Wangji studied his expression carefully. You stand with me. It was not a question. Wei Wuxian answered simply. Always. No dramatic bows. No emotion el kem feschen. Just certainty.
Lan Wangji aura suppli shifted closer.
Protective. Possessive in the quietest way. The hidden watcher. Deep beneath the palace. The ancient seal pulsed again. The chaotic presence sensed something troubling. Spring energy. And something else. A bond. It whispered into the darkness. If they unite fully, I cannot devour either realm. A massive crack split across the ancient formation. The final awakening had begun. A quiet balcony scene. That evening, Wei Wuxian stood on the palace balcony. Lan Wangji joined him shortly after. You handled court well, Lan Wangji said. Wei Wuxian smirked lightly. I prefer solving problems instead of creating them. Lan Wangji's gaze remained on him. You were not frightened. Wei Wuxian glanced sideways. Should I be? Lan Wangji's voice lowered slightly. Only if I am not beside you. For a moment neither spoke. The wind moved through their robes. Darkness and spring aura intertwined gently. Not clashing. Not overpowering. Balanced. Wei Wuxian looked at the divided horizon. In every future I saw. Lan Wangji turned his head slightly. You stood in front of me.
Lan Wangji answered calmly.
I always will. And beneath the realms, the ancient force began gathering power. The 1,000-year war had ended, but the real enemy was rising. Chapter 6, The Cult Beneath the Throne. 3 nights after the wedding, the abyss grew restless. Not with rebellion, not with war, but with whispers. A disturbance in the lower city. The lower districts of the Devil Realm were usually disciplined and quiet. Every movement was monitored. Every noble kept in line. But that night, black smoke rose from an abandoned shrine beneath the western cliffs. Strange symbols burned into the ground. Not devil script. Not heavenly script. Older. Twisted. Wei Wuxian felt it first. He was in the palace library studying ancient records when his spring power tightened painfully around his chest. Like vines being strangled. He stood immediately. It's begun. Before he could leave, Lan Wangji appeared at the doorway. No sound. No annoncement. You sensed it. Yes. Their eyes met. No further explanation was needed. They moved together. The shrine of forgotten gods. The abandoned shrine stood deep underground. Broken pillars. Cracked statues. The air smelled of decay. In the center, a group of cloaked figures knelt before a shattered seal. Their eyes glowed dark red. Chaos energy spiraled upward. Spring has entered the abyss, one cultist whispered. The seal weakens. We must free the primordial devourer. Wei Wuxian's gaze sharpened. So this was it. The third force. Not heaven. Not devil. Something ancient. Before they could complete the ritual, dark pressure crushed the room. Lan Wangji stepped forward, golden eyes glowing. You dare gather in my realm. His voice was calm, deadly calm. Several cultists attacked immediately. They never reached him. In one movement, Lan Wangji's dark aura sliced through them like a silent blade. No guastidmotion. No hisetaschin. Merciless. Wei Wuxian watched carefully. Even while Lan Wangji fought, he shielded him. The dark aura curved around Wei Wuxian protectively. Not a single chaotic spark touched him. Green flag husband. Cold to enemies. Gentle to his wife. The ritual breaks. One cultist lunged toward Wei Wuxian. Instead of retreating, Wei Wuxian extended his hand. Spring energy burst outward. Not destructive. Purifying. The chaotic mark burned away instantly. The cultist screamed as the dark corruption dissolved. Lan Wangji noticed immediately. You can cleanse it. Wei Wuxian nodded. Yes. But only temporarily. The shattered seal on the ground pulsed violently. A massive crack split across it. From the darkness below, a distorted voice echoed. Spring and abyss. You bind yourselves to stop me? Wei Wuxian felt another flash of future vision.
Lan Wanzi bleeding.
The palace collapsing. A child crying in darkness. He steadied himself. Lan Wangji's hand gripped his wrist firmly. Focus. The warmth of that contact grounded him instantly. Together, they combined their power. Darkness stabilized the seal. Spring reinforced its life threads. The crack stopped expanding, but it did not close. The voice laughed softly before fading. Too late. Aftermath. The remaining cultists were captured. Lan Wangji ordered immediate investigation. No mercy, he said coldly. Wei Wuxian stepped closer. Alive. Lan Wangji's gaze shifted. They attacked you. We need answers. A short pause. Then Lan Wangji nodded once. They remain alive. For him. Only for him. The truth revealed. Under interrogation, the cultists confessed. They worshipped an ancient sealed entity, known as the Primordial Devourer. It existed before heaven and devil separated. It fed on imbalance. The 1,000-year war had weakened its prison. And now, the marriage had accelerated its awakening. Because spring and abyss together created balance. Balance threatened it. So it wanted chaos. Division. Wei Wuxian listened silently. Everything matched his future fragments. Lan Wangji stood beside him the entire time. Silent. Unmoving. Protective. Private chamber. Quiet realization. Later that night, Wei Wuxian sat quietly in their chamber. Lan Wangji entered and closed the door. You saw more, Lan Wangji said. Wei Wuxian nodded slowly. In the worst future, the devourer possesses someone close. Lan Wangji's golden eyes sharpened. Who? Wei Wuxian shook his head. The vision is unclear.
Lan Wanzi stipekalo.
Then we prevent it. Wei Wuxian looked up. You do not fear it. Lan Wangji answered without hesitation. No. A brief silence. Then he added. I fear only failing to protect you. Wei Wuxian's smile softened. You won't. Lan Wangji reached up and gently adjusted a strand of his hair that had fallen loose. Small. Subtle. But careful. Rest, Lan Wangji said quietly. I will stand guard. Wei Wuxian laughed softly. You are the Devil King. You don't guard doors. Lan Wangji's reply was simple. For you I do. Outside the palace, the cracked seal pulsed again. The primordial devourer stirred. The cult had failed, but the awakening had begun. And the next attack would not be small. Chapter 7. Blood on the Heavenly Steps. 3 days after the shrine incident, a formal invitation arrived from heaven. A diplomatic banquet. A celebration of peace. A test. The heavenly palace. The palace of heaven stood radiant above endless clouds. White marble steps. Golden pillars. Spiritual light flowing like rivers. Wei Wuxian had grown up here. Yet today, it felt different. He stood at the top of the heavenly stairs beside Lan Wangji. The Devil King's presence was like ink spilled across snow. Black robes. Cold aura. golden eyes steady and unreadable. Heavenly officials whispered behind their sleeves. Too dangerous. Too cruel. He is the Devil King. Lan Wangji did not react. His hand rested lightly at Wei Wuxian's back. Not possessive. Not controlling. Simply present. A father's silence. At the center of the hall sat the Heavenly Emperor, Wei Wuxian's father. His expression was calm, but his gaze lingered on Lan Wangji longer than necessary. This banquet, the emperor declared, celebrates peace between heaven and abyss. Lan Wangji bowed slightly, just enough to respect the title, not enough to submit. I honor the agreement, he said coolly. Wei Wuxian squeezed his sleeve under the table. Lan Wangji's fingers shifted slightly in response. Only Wei Wuxian noticed. The assassination. It happened during the third wine offering. A heavenly official stepped forward. Suddenly his spiritual aura twisted violently. Black cracks spread across his skin. Chaos energy. The primordial devourer. So soon? Wei Wuxian whispered. The possessed official lunged. Not at Lan Wangji. At Wei Wuxian. Because spring was the true threat. The attack was fast. Too fast. Wei Wuxian reacted instantly. Spring energy burst outward. But the chaos blade had already descended. A dark figure moved faster. Lan Wanzi. He stepped between them without hesitation. The blade pierced through his shoulder. Blood spilled across white marble. The entire hall froze. For a single second. For a single second. Absolute silence. Then, chaos. The Devil King's wrath. Lan Wangji did not groan. Did not falter. His golden eyes turned cold beyond emotion. The temperature in the hall dropped instantly. The possessed official tried to pull back. He could not. Lan Wangji's hand gripped his throat. Dark aura exploded outward. Crushing. Terrifying. He dared. Lan Wangji said softly. The heavenly guards trembled. Wei Wuxian rushed forward. Lan Wanzi. Alive. Even now. Even bleeding.
Lan Wanzi listen.
He adjusted his grip. Did not kill him. For Wei Wuxian. Only for him. Spring in full bloom. Wei Wuxian placed his hand over Lan Wangji's wound. Green light blossomed. Warm. Gentle. Life flowed back into torn flesh. The blood slowed. The injury closed partially. But not fully. Because chaos energy remained inside. Wei Wuxian's future sight triggered violently. A vision.
Lan Wanzi golaping.
The devourer fully awakened. He tightened his hold on reality. Not this future, he whispered. Spring power surged stronger than before. The chaos inside the wound burned away. Lan Wangji's breathing steadied. He looked at Wei Wuxian. Not angry. Not shaken. Only concerned. Are you hurt? Wei Wuxian stared at him in disbelief. You are bleeding. Lan Wangji's answer was simple. You are not. Heavenly shock. The heavenly emperor stood. His aura spread across the hall. Seal the palace. Guards surrounded the possessed official. Wei Wuxian looked toward his father. This is not devil interference. The emperor's eyes darkened. I know. The possessed official began laughing. Voice distorted. You cannot stop it. Spring. Abyss. Then his body collapsed. Dead. Chaos consumed him from within. Silence fell again. But this silence was heavy. Because now, both realms had been attacked. Private chamber, aftermath. Wei Wuxian personally rebandaged Lan Wangji's shoulder despite the wound already healing. You shouldn't have taken it directly.
Lan Wanzi answer can li.
I calculated the angle. Wei Wuxian glared. You calculated wrong. A faint pause.
Lan Wanzi stipet lo.
Lowered his voice. I calculated that your life is worth more. Wei Wuxian's breath caught. Lan Wangji gently wiped a trace of blood from Wei Wuxian's wrist. You trembled. I saw a bad future. Lan Wangji's gaze sharpened. Then we break it. Wei Wuxian looked at him. This cold, merciless Devil King, who stood against heaven without fear, who crushed enemies without blinking, yet blocked a fatal strike without thinking. Green flag. Through and through. Wei Wuxian stepped forward and rested his forehead lightly against Lan Wangji's chest. For once.
Lan Wanzi hestita.
Then slowly. Carefully, he wrapped his uninjured arm around him. Not weak, not emotional, just steady. I will not fall, Lan Wangji said quietly. Wei Wuxian closed his eyes. I know. In the shadows, deep beneath both realms, the cracked seal widened. A whisper echoed through darkness. Let them love. It will hurt more when it breaks. The primordial devourer was learning, and the next move would target the heart.